everyone, and welcome back to Dial H. Today we have a very special unboxing. Well, I've already unboxed it. I got a little too excited. Of the Batcave Volume 1 Iconix. As a Batman fan, this is definitely something that got me excited. The art on it is super fun. If you open up the flap here, whoops, it is actually the Bat computer there, and then all of the figures would go inside, but as you can see, I've already got them placed out. Batman, growing up, was actually not my favorite character. Many of you may not know that. It's actually Flash and Iron Man. Those were my two. But Batman, through Heroclix, actually became my favorite. When I was around 11 or 12, I started to play more competitively at my local venue, and it was always Batman, specifically the veteran from Legacy that I was able to win with. The Out of Shadows common, and then I'd say the other really big one that I enjoyed was the Arkham Asylum common Batman Beyond. Those were all the figures that really got me to start kind of turning my gears competitively. So Batman very quickly became a character that I enjoyed. And with that, I found myself reading, watching as much as I could, very quickly becoming my favorite. So a bit of a reverse relationship there, where I think some people find the comics and then they find the character in Heroclix. For much of my life, with Heroclix being such a large part of it, it's been the reverse, and Batman is the biggest example of that. Anyway, let's hop into it. Let's talk about some of these figures in here, and let's start with the man himself, which is Batman. Unmasked, no cowl, but in my favorite suit, the blue and yellow here. Also, just take a look at those cards. They look fantastic. The computer styling on them, the little switches at the end of the KOs, very fun. So Batman comes in at 60 points. He has the Batman family keyword, Gotham City, Justice League, Detective, Martial Artist, and Scientist. Grapple Gun. Never leave the cave without it is his first special, which is free. Choose one. Place Batman in or adjacent to a square of hindering terrain or a terrain marker within range and line of fire. Or choose a standard opposing character within range and line of fire. Then choose a terrain marker within 4 squares in line of fire of that character. Place the chosen character adjacent to the chosen terrain marker and deal them 1 damage. He also has, sometimes you need to fight in the open, which is stop, combat reflexes. Lastly, he has a damage special, which is prep time, and that is outwit. When Batman uses it, after resolutions, choose a standard attack or standard damage power on the target's card. Batman can use that power until your next turn. So yeah, coming in at 60 points, he's got that improved movement, elevated outdoor blocking, and out of adjacency. Stop click shows up on click 3, starts off with some sidestep, both specials, switches into charge, ends on some flurry and close combat expert. Ultimately, this is a Batman that I think will be a lot of fun to play with the rest of what's in this set, because we are able to place people 4 squares away adjacent to a terrain marker, which kind of leads into our next character who might be able to help Batman out, and that is very fitting, as it is none other than Alfred Pennyworth, his main man, the sidekick. You know, there's Robin, but Alfred, come on. He's always the one really doing it for Batman. So, Alfred is only 20 points. He's Batman family with Gotham City and Soldier keywords, so we know Calder will love that. I'm sure he'll be able to slot that into some of his teams. He also has Tidying Up the Batcave as a special attack power, which is Telekinesis, / power. Generate an effect terrain marker or special object from your KO area. Alfred Pennyworth may activate this power as free. If he does, the generated terrain marker must be a Batcave terrain marker. So he's able to bring some stuff back that's really solid for if any of this is to be destroyed, or maybe you want to destroy it yourself so that you can bring it back at a later point in the game. He also has much more than a butler, which is Perplex support. For only 20 points, you're getting a sidestep TK Perplex support figure with Batman team ability to copy. I don't think you can go wrong with this guy. This is an excellent figure and possibly the strongest Alfred they've ever printed. So I am really excited to get this on my Batman teams. And let's take a look at some of the stuff that Alfred, or if you just want to pay the point cost, some things that you can bring in via the Batcave. We'll start off with the Kryptonite Ring. You know, the Superman movie's coming out this weekend, but yeah, I think Superman's going to have some problems with these guys here. The effect here for 5 points is during force construction, if you paid to add this terrain marker to your force, you may add another Batcave terrain marker to your force without paying its cost. This is going to be static across everything that we see in the set. So every single one of these that you're seeing on the desk here is going to have that effect. So for 5 points, you're getting 2. It also has, for an effect, at the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to each character occupying or adjacent to this object. Characters with the Kryptonian keyword can't reduce this damage. Now, one thing to note here is that it is each character adjacent. So, what that means is this can damage friendly characters. We know that self-damage has been pretty strong in the game in past iterations, so that is something to consider if you need to manipulate friendly dials, but also setting up a little trap for your opponent to take some damage could be kind of fun as well. So the Kryptonite Ring, very solid, especially when you can get it in addition to maybe one of these other ones here. So the Batsuit is the next one we'll look at, which the sculpt here is fantastic. Through the glass, it is just excellent, especially compared to previous iterations where Calder and I had noted that it looked kind of like a Lego piece. So what does the Batsuit do? It is effect. During force construction, if you paid to add this terrain marker to your force, you may add another Batcave terrain marker to your force without paying its cost. Lines of fire drawn to this terrain marker are blocked. Characters occupying or adjacent to this terrain marker can use the Batman team ability, and if they already have the Batman team ability printed on their base, opposing lines of fire drawn to them are blocked. So, some enhanced stealth. Also takes only 2 damage to destroy this one, and if you're using it in an object attack, you can modify your own damage by 2. I think it's kind of funny that you can throw this 4. You know, you're probably throwing the case with it, but it's funny to imagine that they're just tossing the cape over them. So that's how I'm going to pretend it goes. The next up, I think, is the one that everyone is the most excited for, and that is the giant penny. I mean, look at the size of this compared to another Heroclix figure. That is just so much fun. And what it does, especially in tandem with this Batman, with this Alfred, which we'll get into in a little bit here, I think is very, very fun. So the giant penny is going to have that same effect, where if you pay for one, you can have an additional one as well. And its ability is when a character's knockback path is stopped by giant penny, flip a coin. Heads. Deal that character 3 damage and they gain a mobile until the end of the next turn. And tails is place giant penny up to 2 squares away from its current square. Now what makes giant penny really unique as well is that it takes 5 damage to destroy it. So the giant penny is just going to be floating around the map the whole time. With Batman's ability to pull people next to terrain and Alfred's ability to revive terrain, I think you could create some really funny interactions by using Batman to place them adjacent to the giant penny and then force blasting or free knockbacking them into the penny and then flipping that coin and hoping they take the 3 damage, immobilizing them. I don't know, guys. The giant penny, I think this is going to be on like every single one of my builds going forward. I don't know how I don't put this on the map. It is just so much fun and such a cool element from the Batman storylines. Lastly, probably the most complicated of the bunch, but another one where I think if you're playing Batman, this is a heavy consideration or just an automatic play. For 5 points, you can have, again, 2 of these things. So 2.5 points for a Bat computer. I mean, in this economy, come on. It's the best deal you can get. So what does the Bat computer do? So same effect, where during force construction, if you paid to add this terrain marker to your force, you may add another Batcave terrain marker to your force without paying its cost. We've been over this. When Bat Computer starts the game, choose a friendly character with the Batman family keyword. That character can use the powers displayed on the Bat Computer's dial and positively modifies their combat values by the values displayed on the Bat Computer's dial. At the end of your turn, you may click the Bat Computer's dial once in the direction of the increasing click numbers. So, 5 points for this, takes 4 damage to destroy, starts off on a 1 movement bonus with leap climb, clicks onto combat reflexes. So immediately for 5 points, or technically 2.5, you can have combat reflexes on one of your Batmen for, yeah, just turn 2. That is pretty solid. The next click is going to be some leap climb and willpower and a bonus to attack. And the 4th click is when I think it starts to get really good. Now you're getting a sidestep and an empower with +1 damage. And it is optional to click it, so you could stay on that as long as you'd like. Later down the dial, we get +1 attack with precision strike combat reflexes, and then +1 attack damage, or sorry, attack, movement, defense, and 0 on the damage, but you do get leap climb. And the last click, sidestep, precision strike, willpower, outwit, +1 to your values. Now that is click 7, it'll take some time to get down there. But for the point cost, I think it's really hard to argue to not put this on a Batman, especially because it's not eating up an equipment either. So you can still give your Batman something like a lantern ring in the upcoming lantern set. But guys, that is the Batman Iconix. This is one that you can pre-order now on shop.wizkids.com if you want to check that out. Or you can check it out at your local game store, get in contact with your store owner, see if they've maybe ordered these or maybe order through them. But I think if you are a Batman fan, this is a no-brainer. This is an instant pickup. I think just about everything here I'm going to play. pretty consistently, especially the Alfred, especially the giant penny. I think you can find some uses for this guy. And then the Bat computer, if you're a Batman fan, I mean, come on. What else are you going to be doing, right? You gotta. Anyway, guys, that is everything I've got for you today. I'm excited for everything else coming out, especially the Lantern Legacy set. So be on the lookout for some more videos from us where we go into some team builds and then maybe some other stuff that's revealed from other content creators. So, no, that's not right. Have a good one.